Coming to you live and in living color from my compound here in Indianapolis. It's the redneck y'all just love to hate. So by now, y'all seen that my press secretary, Mrs. Sarah Huckabee Slanders, came out and gave her 2 weeks notice to my president, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Now, if you're not familiar with Mrs. Sanders, she's the daughter of former Arkansas Governor Mr. Mike Huckabee, and she's the granddaughter of the great Colonel Sanders. She was in the Trump administration for over 2 years. You know, and for staff members of Donald Trump, that's a lifetime. You know, this chick, she was a ride or die chick. And if you don't know nothing about the press secretary, I had to look this up, but that's like the game telephone, the press secretary. You know, somebody whispers something to you, and then you whisper it to somebody else, and they whisper it to somebody else, and eventually what comes out ain't really what was said in the first place, but the only difference is that Mr. Trump would just whisper to Sarah, and then she would say exactly what he said, but it just, you know, was a mere coincidence that what came out was all lies. And the question that everybody's asking is how come all these people are leaving or getting fired, you know, because if the Trump administration was a business and had this bad of a turnover rate, you probably just chalk it up to bad management, but we all know that ain't the truth. Because Mr. Trump has proved time and time again that he knows how to run a business into the ground. You know, look at Trump University or Trump Steaks or Trump Airlines. He knows how to run a business because none of this is his fault. It's all the employees. I don't know what's going on. They don't want to work as hard as Mr. Trump. They don't get enough sick days or something like that. Because there's a lot of employees that have left, over 50 by my count. You know, there's a lot of significant ones. Let's look at our list. We got Steve Bannon. He left to go be Michael Moore's stunt double. We got James Comey. It just goes to show with James Comey that you don't want to go sticking your nose where it don't belong. Jeff Sessions, he went to go get his old job back at the Keebler factory. National Security Advisor Mike Flynn, he didn't even last 30 days, which I can relate to that one. Most of my jobs ain't last that long either. We got Anthony Scaramucci. He lasted 10 days, which I think 4 of them was the weekend, but that's a guy you don't want to go messing with. He just looked like the kind of guy that if a reporter asked a stupid question, he would have curb stomped him right there. So I hope that man comes back. We got Sean Spicer. He left because his pants kept catching on fire. We got Omarosa. It took her 3 days to even figure out she was fired. She just thought Mr. Trump was trying to relive the glory days of The Apprentice. We got Rex Tillerson. He found out that he was fired from Twitter, which I think that's pretty cool, you know, because most times they call you in and fire you, but he just found out at home. He didn't have to put on pants or nothing. And we got, this one kind of pains me a little bit, we got the wife of Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon. You know, she holds a job the same way she takes a stone cold stunner, which really ain't worth a shit. So best of luck to you, Linda, in your future endeavors. And finally, we got Sarah Huckabee Slanders. You know, congratulations to you, Sarah, because, you know, Mr. Trump ain't talked shit about you yet. Because we all know Mr. Trump's pretty good about hiring somebody, and then he tells everybody that they're the best person for the job, and then he turns around and fires them because they're incompetent, and he blames them, of course, instead of actually taking responsibility for his own action. When all is said and done, if this trend continues, it looks like we're going to be down to Mr. Donald J. Trump and the original side chick herself, Mike Pence, and that ain't a lot, but that's all you need to make America great again. So today I'm raising the emotional support bear to you, Mrs. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Thank you for your service. And as an added side note, Mr. Trump, you might want to lock up some of them office supplies because we all know how handsy employees can get on their way out. But anyway, as always, fuck the NFL and go Colts.